green, red roses too. I've seen them bloom for me and you, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. I have seen skies of blue and clouds of white, the bright blessed day and those dark sacred nights, and I think to myself, yes, what a wonderful world. Oh yes it is. The colors of the rainbow, so pretty in the sky, and all the smiling faces of people going by. I've seen friends shaking hands saying, how do you do? What they're really saying is, I love you. I have heard those babies cry, and I've watched them grow. They'll learn many things that I'll never know. Ooh, and I think yes to myself, baby, what a wonderful world. I have heard those babies cry, and I've watched them grow. They'll learn many things that I'll never know. And I think to myself, yes, what a wonderful world. And I think to myself, yes, what a wonderful world. Oh, yes, it is. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning to you.
That was Kweku Jelani. What a wonderful world indeed. The Prime Minister of Barbados, the Honorable Mia Amor Motley. Miss Damilola Ogunbiyi, Chief Executive Officer and Special Representative of the United Nations Secretary General for Sustainable Energy for All, and co-chair of UN Energy. The President of Sierra Leone, His Excellency, the President Julius Maada Bio. The Honorable Dr. Doto Mashaka Biteko, Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Energy, the United Republic of Tanzania. Senator the Honorable Lisa Cummins, Minister of Energy and Business Development, Barbados. Ministers of Government, Heads of Delegation, His Excellency Yemi Osinbajo, High Eminent Vice President, Office of the Vice President, former Vice President of Nigeria, the former Second Lady of Ghana, Samira Bawumia, COP29 President, Mr. Mukhtar Babayev, other specially invited guests, distinguished delegates, honorable ladies and gentlemen, I greet you with a wonderful good morning. Now you've got to give me at least an ounce of that energy that I've given you back this week. Can we try that one more time? Good morning. It is my distinct pleasure to welcome you to the 2025 Sustainable Energy for All Global Forum being held right here in one of the most beautiful and enchanting islands you will find anywhere in the world. I challenge you. Our home, Barbados. My name is SEforALL, and I am honored to serve as your Master of Ceremonies and host for this important and exciting global forum. But I'm conscious this is a global audience, so allow me please to flex a few of the skills I've gained while completing my Duolingo challenges recently. Buenos días a todos. Oh, okay. Bienvenido a Barbados. Estamos muy encantados de que estén aquí. Disfruten de la gente, la comida y las hermosas playas. Was that good? Okay. One more. Bonjour tout le monde. Ça va? Très bien. One more. Bienvenue à la Barbade. Nous sommes ravis de vous compter parmi nous. Profitez déjà de la nourriture et des belles plages. Ce sera une conférence mémorable. Unfortunately, everyone, I am out of languages, so we're going to proceed in English if that's okay with you. Your presence here today underscores the collective commitment to addressing one of the most pressing challenges of our time, ensuring sustainable, equitable, and resilient energy systems for all. As the world faces the escalating impacts of climate change, energy poverty, and economic inequality, we are reminded that the solutions we seek require collaboration at every level. That's across governments, private sector leaders, development organizations, and the wider civil society. This cannot be what we call in the Caribbean a talk shop. Over the coming days, we will explore innovative solutions, mobilize partnerships, and drive forward policy decisions that will accelerate the energy transition while ensuring that no one is left behind. From harnessing renewable energy to financing sustainable infrastructure, from strengthening global cooperation to supporting vulnerable communities, this is a collective effort that demands bold leadership and decisive action. It is only fitting, therefore, that we open the curtain on today's discussions by hearing from a leader representing a nation at the vanguard of sustainable energy and climate action globally. Barbados has demonstrated an unwavering commitment to renewable energy solutions, climate resilience, and a just energy transition, making it a powerful voice in the global conversation. To deliver the official welcome remarks, please join me in welcoming Senator the Honorable Lisa Cummings, Minister of Energy and Business Development, Barbados.
If you could see what I see from up here, you look incredible. I am not SEforALL, but welcome to Barbados. Welcome to my home. You look amazing sitting in this room. I want to establish the protocol as outlined by our MC, SEforALL, but I want to take a moment to recognize some of our very special guests who have traveled a long way to be here with us today. President of Sierra Leone, we are very honored to have you here, a brother and a friend to Barbados, and our Prime Minister, we are honored to welcome you to our home. Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Energy of Tanzania, you are a brother and you are a friend, and we are very pleased to welcome you to Barbados, along with your ministers and your members of your delegation to join us on this important occasion. I want also to take the opportunity to welcome my fellow ministers from around the world. We have ministers who have traveled from the African continent, from across the Pacific, small island developing states like ourselves, and you are all here today for a reason. I cannot, of course, not mention my own colleagues here who would love to be here with us this morning, but Parliament in Barbados is in session, and those of you who are ministers, you know the importance of an annual budget presentation, and we are in the throes of that annual process right here, and most of the ministers who are following from a distance are not necessarily happy that they're missing the opportunity to interface with you, but they send their greetings in absentia. But I do have one of my colleague senators here with me and colleague cabinet ministers, Senator on the Honorable Chad Blackman, who is a friend, a brother to many of you and certainly to me, and I'm very grateful that he is able to be here with us today. We have a number of international organizations who have traveled from all parts of the globe to be here as well. The members of the United Nations fraternity, the various international financial institutions, private wealth management institutions, and our partners from across the globe. My sister and friend, former Second Lady of Ghana, we're so happy to have you here with us. And we have the powerhouses from around the globe. But today could not be possible without my sister and my friend, Damilola. I call her Dami. And so many moons ago, it feels like it was many moons ago, but it was just maybe 2.5 years ago, I had just taken up the seat of Minister of Energy and Business in Barbados, and I believe the very first letter I got from anyone, anywhere in the world, was from the UN Assistant Secretary General on behalf of Dami. And they reached out and they offered to work with Barbados on our energy transition. And as they say, not just here, but everywhere else, the rest is history. We're all here today, and we're going to be launching the culmination of the body of work that we have worked together with Damilola and the entire SEforALL team. And I know that my own team in the Ministry of Energy in particular, they're here today, but they have twinned in every possible way with the SEforALL team that have worked with them hand in glove like sister and brother over the last 2 years. And we are very honored to host SEforALL Global Forum here this week, and also to have had the members of the board of SEforALL here with us. Many of you we know in your individual capacity, and we're very happy to welcome you to Barbados. So as I was pondering what I would say here today, I had to think about it for a little bit, because this is an impressive audience. You also have among you members of our local private sector, members of our local development community, members of our hemispheric and regional development community, and all of you, in your respective ways, are vested in the conversations that we are having here today. And so as I reflected over the conversations that many of us have been having in our respective nations over the course of the last few years, we've all heard the buzz. We've all had the whispers and the conversations around the world that we now live in. We hear from every corner wars and rumors of war, development versus underdevelopment versus sustainable development. We, the leaders from across the globe, in particular, many of us from the global south, along with all of our development partners, we're gathered here today against that backdrop. We're gathered here to discuss how the energy transition can connect with the legitimate expectations of our people. How do we make electricity more affordable? How do we ensure that we eradicate energy poverty? How do we ensure that all across Africa, every single citizen has access to clean and affordable energy? For the small island developing states, we are on the front line of the climate crisis, the debt crisis, the development crisis, the sustainability crisis, the vulnerability crisis, and the invisibility crisis. Oftentimes, as we sit at the table, our voices are seen, and we often feel as if they're not heard. So for the SIDS, for Africa, for the developing world, for the South, we need to be seen, we need to be heard. Our concerns need to be given the agency that we require. That is why my Prime Minister, who you will hear in a few minutes, has become the global climate champion for a range of issues. She's become the name, the face, and the voice for issues relating to climate, to financing, access to affordable financing. And these are issues that we will talk about over the coming days, and they constitute a legitimate conversation. From every single corner, it feels as though there is a clear and a present danger. So when in 2011, former UN Secretary General Ban Ki-moon created SEforALL, if you go back and look at the speeches of the times, what we feel, what we see, what we hear now could easily be representative of an entirely different time. If we look back to 2008, when former US Vice President Al Gore issued the call to action to the United States to transition to 100% renewables in 10 years, then he too was talking about a clear and present danger. Here we are in 2024, the home of the Bridgetown Plan of Action. We have in the room the ministers that I've spoken about before who led with the Samoa Plan of Action after the Bridgetown Plan of Action. In the African region, we had the launch of the Africa 300 Initiative. Today, my friends, colleagues, we are still having the same conversations that we have been having for the last several decades. My question to you here in this room, the nation led by Prime Minister Motley, the global champion that I've talked about, who has not been afraid to challenge the existing status quo, what are we going to walk away from here at the end of the next 2 days? How are we going to use this occasion, yet another watershed moment in our history, where we, like Ban Ki-moon, set our targets for the achievement of our goals? How do we, over the next 2 days, map a pathway to an energy transition that accelerates access to affordable financing to SIDS and all the developing economies? How do we look at the issues of bankability, availability of financing, and balancing the important needs of our people who across the globe have said to us they feel excluded, but they need to be included. They feel disenfranchised, but they need to be enfranchised. They feel as though they don't have empowerment, but need to be empowered. How do we walk away from here on Thursday evening with a supporting framework that creates bridges from the African continent, the Pacific region, to here, us in the Caribbean, in meaningful ways that support research and development, innovation, sustainability, investment, inclusion, affordable financing, and new mechanisms that make people the center of an energy transition? How do we translate legitimate conversations into deliverables, wants, and for all? What are the financial instruments that we're going to walk away from here today that can be used to de-risk renewable energy and energy efficiency projects in the global south? How do we map a pathway from the creation of SEforALL in 2011 to today, and then onwards to 2030? How do we get to 100% renewables, as we saw in Dubai in the second to last COP? Friends, the time is now. The urgency of now has quite frankly been exhausted. We have seen far more watershed moments in history than we can count. There's always a battle of some kind. There will always be a battle of some kind. There's always been danger, and perhaps that will never change, but how do we make a forward trajectory out of this present moment? Can we walk away from here today, tomorrow, with a clear new deal for the South? How can we, with all of you here, with institutions like SEforALL, with dynamic and incredible leaders like Damilola, and with institutions like the United Nations, whose role and mandate remains as valid today as it was when it was created in 1945, how do we walk away from here with meaningful results? To our development partners, what role will you play? To our developed nation partners, what role will you play? What will we do together? The road from the creation of SEforALL to now, and from COP in Paris to Rio next year, up ahead, it is paved with promises that need to be met, deliverables that have to be accomplished, and the time to change must begin with us, right here, right now, in this moment, and not a moment later. So this is a call to action for all of us. And I know that the fact that you have come from all parts of the globe, that you have shared the same commitment to delivering on meaningful results for the people who are depending on us to do just that. Welcome to Barbados. Our road is set out for us, and we've got a lot of work to do over the next 2 days. Thank you very much.
Thank you for those warm opening remarks, Minister Cummins, Minister of Energy and Business Development, Barbados. If there were 3 C's I could extract from her presentation, it would be the importance of creativity in the solutions that are designed during this forum, the importance of commitment to ensuring this is an all-of-society approach and collaboration, because private, public sector, and development agencies must work together towards this enterprise. Our next speaker is the Chief Executive Officer and Special Representative of the UN Secretary General for Sustainable Energy for All, and the co-chair of UN Energy, looking absolutely radiant this morning. I'm pleased to welcome Ms. Damilola Ogunbiyi.
Your Excellency Mia Motley, the Prime Minister of Barbados, Your Excellency Julius Bio, the President of Sierra Leone, Your Excellency Pt1, the Deputy Prime Minister of Tanzania, and also the Minister of Energy. Your Excellency Yemi Oshibajo, SAN, the former Vice President of Nigeria, members of the SEforALL Governing Board. Fun fact, as I was here, I got a text by someone on my team to say, "You are not Minister Cummings. Read your speech." So I'm going to read my speech as they have presented it to me, because I think she articulated it very well, and my team will actually kill me if I don't. So, honorable ministers, esteemed colleagues, friends within the UN family, World Bank family, and also African Development Bank, ladies and gentlemen, I am so pleased to welcome you to the 6th edition of the Sustainable Energy for All Global Forum. I do not take it for granted that many of you had to travel a very long way to be with us today. We value your presence here today and look forward to working with all of you to make this forum, as Minister Cummings said, a really meaningful milestone towards our shared goals on energy, climate, and development. I also want to share my appreciation and wish everyone who observes Ramadan and Lent the best during this holy time. Please know that your dedication to the cause of the global energy transition does not go unnoticed. And finally, I'd like to express my greatest appreciation and gratitude to Her Excellency Mia Motley, my sister, Minister Cummings, the entire government of Barbados, who have been wonderful, and also the people of Barbados for co-hosting this year's forum in Barbados. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, energy is more than a commodity. It is a human right. We with the commitment of providing poor, therefore, we must go beyond basic levels of lighting and charging to provide energy that can create jobs and sustain economies. We are at a pivotal moment in our transformation and the global energy transformation. There are 2 tides that are competing right now. How we collectively decide to act at this moment will determine whether we progress on our shared goals or we undo decades of action. As the global geopolitics evolves, international cooperation, especially on clean energy, is at an all-time low. And yet the economics of energy transition has never been more favorable, especially for developing countries, where the energy transition offers us the development opportunities of our lifetimes. Being here in the Caribbean, we can see firsthand that climate change is no longer a distant threat. It is affecting here affecting communities, affecting economies, and affecting ecosystems, from flooding in coastal communities to heat distress in agricultural regions. As part of the solution, I'd like to highlight Barbados, which holds a unique position in the global landscape because it's one of the few countries that aims to achieve net zero in the next 10 years. Through the Barbados Energy Transition and Investment Plan, the country has the opportunity to transform its economy while demonstrating what is possible in a small island state. Excellencies, we have less than 5 years to 2030, the end line for the Sustainable Development Goals, as we urgently need to push for higher ambition, stronger policies, greater financial flows, increased localization and green jobs, and faster results towards SDG 7, which calls for affordable, reliable, sustainable, and modern energy for everyone by 2030. This is why this forum is coming at such a timely point in our evolution, as it comes 6 weeks after the Mission 300 Africa Energy Summit, hosted by the World Bank and the African Development Bank, in support with the Rockefeller Foundation, the Global Energy Alliance for People and Planet, and ourselves, Sustainable Energy for All. At this summit, we saw over 26 heads of states have a commitment that they want their countries to reach universal energy access. The other pivotal moment that comes is the latest National Determined Contribution process, also known to many of us as NDC 3.0, that took place last month, where some countries have updated their climate commitments in line with their Paris Agreement. However, today, I urge others to join these efforts. The NDC process is more important than ever today to signal that international processes on climate are not critical for the planet, but they are invaluable to nations and the people within these nations. I am pleased that present today we have the COP29 president, and we also have the executive director of UNFCCC, showcasing the importance of international collaboration and leveraging their leaderships to find solutions and pathways for an equitable transition, which is what we need in this moment. Together with many of you in this room, we have co-created a solutions-based agenda. I am particularly keen to hear about how we can mobilize and deploy the right technologies and capacity to scale solutions. I'm also really excited and look forward to the DRE fund launch today that we're doing jointly with African 50, the Nigerian Sovereign Investment Authority, and the International Solar Alliance, which shows how, as Africans, we have to find the solutions for ourselves, and sometimes we have to look inwards instead of just looking for people to help us. As I conclude, I have to take a moment to thank the Middle East Green Initiative of Saudi Arabia and also the Nigerian government for all their support, all our funding partners, as well as our funding sponsors. Your wavering support has been truly invaluable, and your mission to make sure no one is left behind. Thank you for listening.
Oh, we're doing this all day. The Honorable Dr. Mashaka Biteko, Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Energy, the United Republic of Tanzania. Before I welcome His Excellency, the President Julius Maada Bio of Sierra Leone, we're going to have a video that features some of the work being done in Sierra Leone relevant to the energy transition.
We have a vision for green industrial transformation, for our young children to comfortably study after dark, for our farmers to produce aplenty, for our hospitals to run 24/7, for our entrepreneurs to prosper in the digital economy. We have a vision for sustainable energy to power all this and more in Sierra Leone. The Sierra Leone Energy Transition and Green Growth Plan is our pathway to a better future. By 2050, we will achieve universal access to clean energy in line with Mission 300 for 100% electrification to power 1,500 health facilities and 28,000 schools. By 2050, we will achieve green growth with clean power for key industries like mining and manufacturing, agriculture and agro-processing sector. We see change in front of our eyes. The clinic in Makali now refrigerates vaccines and provides life-saving care thanks to the Sierra Leone Healthcare Electrification Project. Shops in Kasiria are bustling, all thanks to reliable, affordable electricity. If today is already this bright, imagine the power of tomorrow, when we will double our energy jobs to 30,000 and unlock new markets. When today's investment opportunity of $6.5 billion gives us a thriving, flourishing green economy tomorrow. When we will be a leader in accelerating energy access and propelling Africa's energy transition. So, investors, partners, and changemakers, we invite you to join us to turn this vision into reality.
It is now my distinct honor and privilege to welcome to the platform the President of Sierra Leone, His Excellency, President Julius Maada Bio. Please stand.
Let's take our seats, please. Mr. Moderator, you've done a great job so far. I want to recognize you first. And then come to my sister, Your Excellency, the Prime Minister of Barbados, Mia Mottley, and another sister, the Chief Executive Officer of the Sustainable Energy for All, and UN Special Representative Damilola. I want to also recognize my brother, the former Vice President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, a great man. He's here, and my sister, the former Second Lady of Ghana. And of course, all of you distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, but more specifically I came with a delegation from Sierra Leone with the Minister of Finance, Minister of Health, and many other. It gives me great pleasure, ladies and gentlemen, to be with you this morning. For the first time, I'm in Bridgetown, Barbados. This is my first time in the Caribbean. I don't know if they look like us or we look like them, but we look alike. And this is basically for the 2025 Sustainable Energy for All Forum, which has been convened by our two sisters. So I want to start by extending my profound gratitude to the organizers, the government, and the people of Barbados for their warm hospitality and commitment to promoting sustainable energy solutions. Today, we gather at a very crucial moment when the urgency for global energy transition calls for collective action. You will all agree with me that Energy is essential to the functioning and prosperity of every economy. In fact, it is the catalyst that fuels economic growth, fosters social transformation, and enhances climate resilience. Energy drives industry, fuels innovation, empowers education, and enhances the quality of life of all people around the world. Small and medium-sized enterprises, which are the backbone of our economy, can thrive only when they have access to stable and affordable electricity. In rural areas where poverty is most severe, electrification provides dignity and security, allowing families to transition away from inefficient and polluting energy sources. Women and children who are responsible for collecting firewood and using harmful cooking fuels deserve access to clean energy solutions that enhance their health and well-being, and we are their ambassadors. We have to provide those solutions and access. Access to clean, affordable, reliable energy is a significant challenge for millions in Africa, including Sierra Leone. The urgency to close the gap is more critical than ever, and we must intensify our efforts to ensure that everyone is included in this global energy revolution. Ladies and gentlemen, Sierra Leone is dedicated to its commitment to sustainable energy. Our government has prioritized renewable energy as a catalyst for economic transformation, resilience, and social equity. We are progressing towards universal energy access by implementing policies that encourage investment in clean energy, expanding mini-grids, and forming strategic partnerships, all of which are necessary for success at the end of the road. In November 2024, during the Climate Resilience and Energy Transition Dialogue, Sierra Leone introduced the Energy Transition and Investment Plan, which aims to attract investment for 1 gigawatt of power. The Energy Transition and Investment Plan is not just a roadmap for energy development. It is actually a way for us to show our national commitment to transformative vision, and it embraces innovation, resilience, and sustainability, and tells a whole new story about us. Central to this vision is an ambitious, low-carbon development pathway, which is aimed at integrating and supporting various key national priorities. It is closely aligned with the goals of our National Development Plan, our flagship Feed Salon program, the National Electrification and Clean Cooking Strategies, and Sierra Leone's nationally determined contributions. By consolidating all of these essential initiatives under a unified strategy, we ensure that our energy transition directly supports our country's broader socioeconomic development. Our energy transition and investment plan emphasizes a stronger focus on renewable energy sources, especially hydropower and solar technologies. These renewable energy sources will lower our carbon footprint and improve the resilience and reliability of our power supply. However, to truly realize the vision of sustainable energy for all, we must address critical barriers, including limited financing, which has been referred to here, infrastructure gaps, and capacity constraints. To effectively scale sustainable solutions, we must foster strong international partnerships, drive technological innovations, and enhance climate finance. The energy transition should be inclusive, just, and equitable. Developing nations, particularly in Africa, have historically contributed the least to climate change, yet suffer the most severe impacts. We must ensure that the transition to sustainable energy uplifts the most vulnerable and does not deepen inequalities. This necessitates strong policy measures, enhanced funding, and the exchange of ideas, knowledge between countries and industries. I urge our global partners, governments and the private sector, and multilateral institutions to enhance collaboration on clean energy investment in Africa. We require concessional financing, technology transfer, and the innovative funding mechanisms to enable nations like Sierra Leone to develop sustainable and resilient energy systems. The transition to renewable energy is both necessary and advantageous. Sierra Leone is well positioned to take advantage of green growth by investing in off-grid solar solutions, enhancing our hydropower capacity, and expanding clean cooking initiatives. These initiatives will generate employment, promote industrial growth, support our climate goals under the Paris Agreement. Energy access should be closely aligned with digital transformation and industrialization. By leveraging digital solutions, we can improve energy efficiency, optimize distribution, and enable local communities to promote sustainable development. I encourage all of us to transition also from we possess the knowledge, we possess the technology and resources needed to make sustainable energy accessible to all. The drive to drive this transformation, we need strong political will, and that is why I'm here. Courageous leadership and steadfast partnerships that we seek everywhere. Sierra Leone is prepared to contribute to this global effort. We are dedicated to collaboration with regional and international partners to develop solutions that will ensure a cleaner,